Hi everyone, this is Jadusha and I'm here with a very, very interesting entity on the planet. Her name is Lesley McKenley and I'm going to let her tell you about herself, exactly what she does currently now, and then we're going to dive into her journey with her. Hi Lesley, how are you?
Hi sweetheart, lovely to see you this lovely afternoon in London.
Yes, we are here in London. It's awesome to see you as well. She's glowing, her eyes are sparkling, looking very beautiful.
Yeah, I am actually feeling great. I'm travelling tomorrow back to my wellness home in Barbados, so the enthusiasm levels and the energy transfer is already happening, so hence
Can I come?
Well, yeah, if you want to. I can always squeeze you in my suitcase. You can always come along. No
with my
problem.
2 daughters as well.
Listen, family, all is welcome.
Thank you. So, all right, jokes aside. So,
Yes.
what are you doing with yourself right now?
At the moment, as you may or may not know, I'm actually I've relocated to Barbados. I spend a lot of time in I call my wellness home there, where I cultivate and think about my health and well-being, and it's also a place where I do a lot of planning. So my plan is, and I'm obviously my background, I'll start there, is I'm a property investor with a very, very, very strong interest in exchanging and transferring my knowledge to help empower other women and men into looking at investment. I think it's very important that this information is imparted, as it was to me, to other people so that they can think about changing their lifestyle to a more healthy, well-being led lifestyle. So the balance between work and well-being is addressed. So my mission at the moment is to create workshops and masterclasses to actually help people address or think about changing their lifestyle in some way that they can enjoy their lives and not just live to work, but also enjoy life. And it's very possible, but I don't believe there are a lot of people out there that have actually done that transition, and on top of that are prepared to exchange that information and education to help and support people make that transition. So that's my passion right now. That's what I'm working on. But I had to live the experience first, which I have done. So it's been a 4-year plan, 4 years of planning, 3 years of actual living in that environment now, and it's amazing. It's fantastic, and it's beautiful, and I'm so enthusiastic and excited about exchanging that information and helping people even look at the possibility of living a lifestyle which is enriching for health, well-being, and for life.
And that is very refreshing that you're prepared to impart that knowledge. Like you say, not everybody is prepared, to share. They want to hoard it to themselves because there's a concept that abundance is limited. It's
a very strange concept that I've never really understood, to be fair. I think maybe it may have had something to do with my upbringing, my family life. We've never had that idea of keeping everything to yourself. It's that concept is really quite foreign to me. But I realised that not everybody thinks on that vibration, which is something I'm happy to sort of change. I want to be the person who isn't like that. I want to be come over. I want to be approachable. I want people to be able to come up to me and ask me questions, and obviously where that's already happening. So I realise that my knowledge and what I have to share needs to be more structured. Hence the workshops and the masterclasses. They will exist very soon.
awesome.
Yeah.
So That's very, very interesting, and we're going to dive back into that. But first, on the hair level, yeah, because she's sitting before me, you will see a picture of her, and you've got beautiful locks just past your shoulder length. And how long have you been growing your hair?
My transition into growing dreadlocks happened around 2002.
All right, well, tell us a little bit about your hair journey.
Yeah, sure.
To date.
Right, so, wow. So, obviously, natural hair up until age 13, 14. Then secondary school, decided I wanted to embark upon some fashion hair statements. Salt and pepper back in the day used to be my big influence.
Been there.
So, luckily convinced my parents, or my mother actually, to allow me to perm my hair, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Dyed blonde and head shaved to the side. So from I'd say age 14 to 18, I had permed hair. I then decided I wanted to grow my hair in a different way, and I then started experimenting with braids. So it was around the time Janet Jackson had those big box braids from the Juice movie, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to go for that look. And then I started to look at myself differently from that point onwards. Where I'd had the braids in, my hair underneath had grown quite significantly, and I saw my natural hair coming through, and I thought, wow, this is great. I've got my natural hair back. I quite like this. I then started experimenting. One afternoon I took the braids out and I had a nice funky afro. So I must have been about age 20 by then. I thought, this is great. All right, I'm going to go and have a funky 70s afro. I then rocked that for maybe about 2 or 3 years. But what I had to do, because I was then working in a corporate environment, I used to cane roll my hair down and wear wigs to work. I found that very, very restrictive. And a few people worked out that my hair, that actually wasn't my hair, and I was wearing a wig, and it was a little bit embarrassing. When I got called out a few times at work by a black guy that used to work there, and he always threatened to pull it off at work. So I then thought about myself differently and realised that corporate life wasn't actually for me. And that's when I started embarking on my journey of being a true individual, and being true to myself. And I was going through a finding myself journey, and I decided to bump my hair. I came to work with tiny bumps in my hair, and everybody loved them. They wanted to know how long it took to do it and everything. And I was like, yeah, this is actually not too bad. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I think people around me at the time was like, you can't do that. You've got to keep the wig. You've got to keep the corporate look going. And I was like, no. So I left corporate life. But just before I did, I decided to cut my hair off. And I went down to an actual number 2. So this was in the 90s. That was my most empowering hair move ever. I cut my hair down and I loved it so much. I felt like I just stepped into my light. I actually felt I was beautiful for the first time, I have to admit. I felt that I was just free. I was incredibly happy. And then I went travelling for 1.5 years, left corporate. My hair came with me. It was brilliant. I dyed it blonde. It was short, it was funky. I looked different. I felt brilliant. Came back from travelling and decided I wanted to grow it again. And I thought, at that time, Lauryn Hill was happening. The Miseducation album was out. Lauren was rocking some boss dreads, and I thought, yeah, that was a strong influence to me, and I just embraced that and decided I was going to grow dreads. And I've had them since 2002. So that's my journey. And actually, I'm now thinking of cutting them off. So watch this space.
Oh, very interesting. And it just goes to show that your hair is a journey, and you move through it, and it moves through you. And just speaking about your initial big chop that you did when you was around 20, that liberation that was emitting off of you, I was thinking to myself, wow, it sounds like she's gonna go there again.
It felt like a rebirth. Like it was just such an empowering move. And obviously I was lucky. I did get a lot of compliments in terms of, from women. They, oh, go on, sister, that's so brave of you and it suits you. I want to do that. I'd love to do that one day. And the response and the connection that it gave me with other women was really interesting. And I realised having natural hair really connects you with women in a very different way from having processed hair. There's almost like, oh, you were brave. You went there. And you look good with it. I want to do that. It's like, you can do it. And you end up being in this kind of like this supportive role. And it's all about hair. But it's a bit more than that. So, cutting my hair off was big. It was massive. And I think it also signified that change isn't something you should always be scared of.
So be it. Can I ask you, because you're sitting before me, your locks beautiful, well taken care of, they're gorgeous, the colour, everything compliment you are. What's inspiring you to consider another big chop? If I'm allowed to ask.
Yeah, of course you are. I think there's been change in my life, lots of change. There's the move abroad, there's the change in relationship, and the relationship with myself, not only my relationship with another significant other, but it's almost time for another rebirth in this to a certain degree. And it feels like a significant time to change my hair too, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a little bit nervous. I'm definitely not the person I was back then, but I'm interested in exploring who and what and how it's going to make me feel. And I understand change is something when you embrace it, it's generally something quite empowering, but it's scary. But when you embrace it, you get some big rewards. So it's not just about my hair, but I guess it's the whole transition of who I am and where I am and wanting to change and move on and be in that, and I realise it's the whole package. And the hair,
it grows.
It grows. And yeah, it's everything. It's the whole thing, isn't it? So, yeah. I'm looking forward to actually embracing change again. Yeah.
When you speak of chopping off your hair and embracing a level of change, when I did the big chop, I did it because the last time, because I've done it 3 times, the last time was because I had a lot of toxic emotions during the previous few years. I had went through some really vigorous times emotionally, and I just felt like my hair held the memories of it, and I wanted to let every aspect of it go. And I felt like it was symbolic that when I cut it off of my hair, that it was gone. Like I could completely and utterly let it go, and my hair wasn't going to remind me.
Yeah. I can understand.
I don't know if you can.
I can understand the feeling of that. I'm not quite sure if I feel like that though.
No, that's me.
But yeah, I think. No, I actually really like my hair, and it's interesting. The challenge I have with cutting my locks, I think I would have probably cut them a couple of years ago, But it seems, you know what it's like? The day I get the power, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to cut them, you know. I'm cutting them next week. I get 3 or 4 women come up to me and go, you know what, I just have to say this to you. I love your dreads. They look gorgeous. I'm like,
Yep.
why is this happening? Oh, your dreads. When did you start your locks? I love your hair. I'm like, I'm going to cut them off. No, you can't. They're lovely. And then I delay for about a month or 2 or 3. And I re-embrace them. I'm like, no, I'm not cutting them. But I realise that is change. Change is about stepping out of your comfort zone and embracing what's around the corner that you're not quite sure about. And that is what your hair journey is about when you change your hair. It's almost like an analogy for how you conduct your life. It's like if you're not comfortable with exploring change, then you don't know what gems that life could offer you are around the corner. So that's how I think about my hair sometimes. Like, I change my hair, it's almost like an analogy of changing or embracing change or creating change or going for a change or looking at a change or exploring a change. It's like we don't know, do we? We don't really know how we're going to feel. But you'll be surprised, no doubt, how you'll feel when people start going, you know what, sister? Your hair looks wicked, cut short. But they didn't see me 2 weeks ago with dreads. But they know me now. So, you know, take it on.
Yeah.
Just take it on.
Yeah, and there's so many different aspects to it. It's having that confidence to step outside of the comfort zone. It's about your own opinion, embracing your own opinion and your own message, what's coming from within, you know, and that echo, the echo of what you're getting from people is like almost supporting your fears.
Cool.
Am I going to fully embrace it when I cut it off, you know? You reminded me of my cousin actually. She cut her locks and kept them. For work purposes. She wanted to relax again, and then years later she went back natural and sewed her locks back in. And she's got her locks again now.
You're amazing.
Swear down.
So I obviously where I thought about cutting them off, and I'm a researchy type person, so I researched, and it was a hairdresser that said, oh, you know, I'll cut them off for you. We'll keep them. I was like, do what? Yeah, you can keep them and reattach. I was like, okay, that gives me a little comfort in my uncomfortableness. So yeah, it's just again the messages of support that help you along to make the change. So again, it's the analogy of embracing change. There's always support on every journey if you seek it. So that made the transition, knowing that I could keep my dreads and reattach them if I ever wanted to, made it a more comfortable decision for me. So I guess it's the same thing, like changing your life. If you do the research, find the people that have maybe gone through some changes that you're interested, they'll support you. It's the same. It's the same. It really is. Yeah.
Okay, yes. It's just, you know, it's like, it's emotional, isn't it? And it's deep. Here, it's our crown. And, you know, even though it grows back, it's political, it's emotional, it's a statement, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah. When you say it's political and a lifestyle, one of the most interesting conversations, because everything obviously that I'm very, I link everything back to obviously my passion. And my passion is about empowering other people to look at their lives, look at their lifestyles and how they can improve them. And how somebody said to me, this is in my Barbados world, it was some young people, a very interesting young man who was full of energy and just I love the guy. I was just, his energy just drew me into him. And he said to me, I didn't know somebody like you existed. And I said, what? He said, you're a unicorn. I was like, what? I never heard that terminology, but I've now realised it is something that people say. You're a unicorn. I said, why? He goes, you're a black woman with dreadlocks. This identified me. You're a black woman with blonde dreadlocks who's into business and finance and is into investment. And I didn't know people like you existed. I said, why? He said, because people like you are generally corporate people with straightened hair. They look a certain way. And I feel more comfortable approaching you than somebody who's straight out corporate with straightened hair and corporately dressed. You have he said I could identify with you. And it was about my hair. So he's like, you have dreadlocks. So therefore I feel I can identify with you. Your message is going to somehow be easier to be more palatable, or I can hear you more, or hear you more clearly because of my hair. I laugh so much. I said, my hair did that. He said, yeah.
That's powerful. It's powerful.
So I realised that having dreadlocks, but also being somebody who's into finance, wealth, investment, planning, lifestyle change, travel, it's pretty different maybe. I don't know. I haven't really researched that. But I know I'm important. I know that seeing somebody who looks like me doing something that's a little bit different may help people change. It may make that change easier. The message is coming from a place that people, or some people, can identify with more easily. So yeah, I put my voice out there. That's a small story and I realised that he was pretty powerful, you know, and yeah, I guess he felt he could tap into my message or me more easily because of my hair. I thought that was hilarious. Hilarious.
You might find it hilarious, but receiving it here, sitting in front of you, it's what it says to me is like you haven't conformed in order to succeed. And that is very, very empowering. You still are you, and you have that confidence because your skills, your mind is what plans and works and does what it does. Your hair doesn't define what goes on up in here, and you can wear your hair any which way you want to. You don't feel enslaved that you have to conform in order to do what it is that you want to do. And there's many sisters, many people, period, that feel they have to conform some shape, form or fashion in order to be accepted in an environment that they wish to be in.
Yeah.
Especially in work-wise, particularly corporate.
And I think that I understand that pressure, not standing out, not blending in, or not being letting your hair be a distraction or whatever. And that's fine. But if you feel at any point that that's messing with your spirit of expression of who you really are, then I think that's quite sad, because there could be you're not embracing who you feel, who you are, and your truth, and that will mess with your spirit a little bit. Now, the resentment that could build up in you just for not being able to express yourself, it's just so restrictive and so sad. But the other side of things is actually, if you were brave enough and had the courage to embrace it, you have no idea how you're going to be received. Your corporate colleagues, partners, director, bosses may actually love that you're bringing your individualism to work. They may see it as a very strong contribution to the diversity of their firm or whatever, that you don't know, you could be championing something that they felt that was always missing. But because you're conforming, you're missing out on potentially so much. And that's just through hair, but it's bigger than hair, because actually it's about what you said, conforming. Conforming is a dangerous area because it's very linked to, I feel that it's linked to not expressing your inner self, and your spirit is being affected by conforming. You're not able to express yourself. It's very restrictive, and I think it's quite damaging long term. So again, embracing change, scary, but it could be so powerful, and it could start with your hair. Your hair could open up your life. It's if I didn't change my hair, the conversations at work wouldn't have changed and helped, and wouldn't have, it would, basically, when I changed my hair, I cut my hair off and I had short hair. Somebody said to me, "Why are you working here? You've got so much flair. You're so, this place is like, how do you manage to stay here? Like, you've got so much to offer. You're not meant to be here." And I was just like, wow, that person didn't say that to me when I was wearing my wig. And I was like,
Do you feel like that might have helped you to springboard and have the confidence?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
The person who said that to me was a good friend of mine at work. And they're like, it's almost as if they were fed up of seeing me conform. They knew there was more. And once I cut my hair off and I stepped into what I felt was my butterfly era, I really just felt good.
Came out of the chrysalis of the
Seriously,
wig.
right, the wig was gone. The head was there. Number 2 was there. I just felt like my possibilities were endless. Like I said, I embraced the change, and the change was just like, yeah, man. That was a huge transition for me. But the conversations around it were different. Like, you should be here. Look at your hair. You're so expressive. You're artistic. You're creative. Why are you an accountant? Why are you in corporate? Don't understand it. There's so much more to you. And I'm like, yeah.
It was an echo of your own soul being spoken to you.
I'm telling you, my
someone
spirit opened, and I went, I'm leaving. I left corporate probably about 8 months after I cut my hair.
Powerful.
And I never went back into corporate.
Amen.
Crazy! I really haven't summarised it in my head like that before, but that is how it went. My hair was a big part of that.
Awesome. Well, that's why we're speaking to you. All right. But you haven't really expressed, just briefly, if you could, because obviously when you left corporate, you were an accountant, you said. You've left corporate now. Yeah. Tell us a little bit of what you've been doing up until now, where you're ready and in a position to start planning and building your wealth management and masterclass workshops.
So I left corporate, went travelling for 1.5 years, went backpacking around the world, came back with the view that working corporate definitely wasn't me, but I needed an income. So I then embraced the world of property investing. I met a fantastic young man who was on his journey. He was a mortgage broker back then, and he asked me a question. He said, "Well, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And I said, well, I don't want to work. He said, well, you need to do something. And I said, yeah, well, what am I going to do? And he said, well, you could invest in property. So 15 years ago, I took on his advice. Very simple concept. Thought that was straightforward, and I haven't looked back since. It's been a very eye-opening environment. It's very male-led, but I find that more and more women are very interested in investing. The reason why they're interested, and it's mainly because of family. It's thinking about passing on some wealth to the next generation, leaving a legacy, helping secure family life, and also it frees us up and people up to so that they can invest more in their families. They have free time. They can have a choice on how they use their time once you're investing. So basically, after cutting my hair, then travelling, coming back from travelling, embracing the whole property investment journey, then looking at my own personal life and looking at the well-being on top of the investment, but finding a place of well-being to live, which is where I'm at now. So I'm living in Barbados. Changed my base. I live in Barbados and I travel here to the UK on holiday and business. Now that I've settled into that lifestyle, I understand it, I've been through it, I did the research. Now it's time to help others and to show them a path if they're interested in living a more holistic wealth and well-being, lifestyle. It's about health, wealth, well-being, empowerment, and it's just helping people, or showing them an alternative. It's just, that's all I want to do. Just, there is an alternative, and if you're interested, then I want to help you. I want to be that woman with the dreadlocks who looks approachable, or with the short hair.
I was just about to say.
Who is approachable, who you can identify with, who you can sit down and have a chat with. My workshops, I want them to be like, a bit like how we are now, just around the table, very relaxed, very non-corporate, I want it to be easy. I want you to be able to ask me anything. And I want the relaxed approach.
Transparent.
Yeah, transparent, easy to understand. Environment for learning, empowerment. So I am ready. I'm at this point in my life for a reason, and that is all I can think about. Empowering other people who are interested in changing their lifestyle, embracing it, and then supporting them, and actually saying, you know what, it's just a choice, it's change, I've done it, I've been through it, I can support you and help you. And really, I'll show you the tools. I'll give you the tools actually, but I'll show you a path. And yeah, that's my passion right now. That is it. Yeah, that's my life work now. I mean, literally, I want to do this for the rest of my life.
Of service, of great service.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm coming to one of them masterclasses, that's for sure. I'd like to ask you, because why do you call your home in Barbados your wellness home? And what does that mean? What's different between a previous home and a wellness home?
It's interesting. When you say that, I get like buzzy and glowy and tingly because I think about Barbados and at the actual location. Now, London is amazing. It's buzzing, it's full of possibilities, it's a place where it's productive, it's fast-paced, it's energizing, it's draining, it's all of that. But I'm not an engine. At some point I need some downtime. Now downtime could be in my house, going to a restaurant, this is all the UK, but it's not the same as being in a slow-paced environment where the sun is out, the air is clean, the people are respectful and friendly, I can grow my own food, I can harvest water and water my garden and bask in great light. London's very grey and it can be depressing for me. So, particularly in the winter months, when the days are really, really short. So, being in Barbados represents big wealth, health, and it's an investment in my health. The well-being factor just goes up tenfold, and you feel it. It's very difficult to actually put into words, but it's something you feel. It's an emotional connection with being in the Caribbean, and once I made up my mind that that's where I needed to be, there was no looking back. The pressure of being here and staying here and continue to be to continue being an engine, a producer, a production type character. And no, I don't think that's entirely healthy. And to the burnout factor, I know a lot of people who are running themselves like engines, producing particularly for other people, and are burning themselves out. I can physically see that. And that's no good for health. Your health and well-being. Without health, you are nothing. Money is great. The stuff feels good for a little while, but your health is so important. And you need to consider at some point in your life the balance that you give to your health over your lifestyle. Being an engine is not. At some point your engine is going to break down, and your wealth is not going to be able to pay for that engine to get repaired. It's impossible. So deal with your health. Find your health space, the place where you feel good. You're looking after yourself. Your body rewards you. Your mind feels good. You get clarity. You grow. You empower your mind. Your mind thanks you. Your body thanks you. Man, it's just, I want to help people tap into that so they can find their health space, their health place in this world. The world has got so many places where you could just find a little spot, couch, find a nice little, A-frame hut, if that's what you want, beach hut, I don't know, but
what you're describing is why we go on holiday.
Yeah.
This is why people go on holiday and then they replenish on to come back and then need another holiday at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
So, everyone can see what you're saying as well as myself. So, yeah.
But how about this? How about you live in your holiday spot and then you come to the place where you operate like an engine, but go back to your holiday space. So you swap your base round. But I'm not saying that. Some people might think, well, that's easy to say, but it just takes planning. If you've never thought about it in that way, then maybe you
need to
make
start
a change.
About it.
So again, it goes back to change. It's like exposing yourself to the possibility I'm living that way, and I'm happy to show you and help you think about it in a different way. I'm not going to dictate to you. I'm just going to say, have you thought about it? Everyone loves a holiday. And nobody wants to go back home after a week or 2 weeks. And that's how I used to feel. I used to travel and go, do you know what? I've come all this way and I'm not ready to go back. I want to explore and see more.
What, in terms of your mental attitude, was there a shift? Has there ever been a shift? Because you sound like you've been quite focused from very early. Being able to be an accountant takes a lot of focus and discipline. Being able to see into numbers and enjoy that process. But, you know, having the confidence to step out and do what you've done and are doing, and to say, I'm gonna get paid to play and do what I enjoy.
Yes. Well,
you know, what shifted you from going on holiday to now living on holiday, and work is on a holiday mode. You work for a few weeks and then you go back and play and live.
Yeah.
Is that something that you receive after a long investment, or?
No. I think from my 20s, after coming back off my long trip, my backpacking trip for 1.5 years, I realised that very early on in my 20s that there are beautiful places you can live around the world that are a lot cheaper than living in the UK. Then as time went on, I realised that with the birth of the internet, emails, and just the whole communication aspect, you could be far away but very close by. So as time went on, I realised that now is the time to make that move. So 5 years ago, I was starting really thinking about it. Now it's time. The confidence, what made that shift? Just exposure. Knowing that there are some beautiful spots in this world that you can be. Why would I necessarily put myself through? Why would I restrict myself to staying in London? Some people said, well, why didn't you just move out of London and go into the countryside? But yeah, I agree. There are some beautiful spots outside of London and, around the UK. But that weather, that sun.
Thanks for highlighting that for me, Lesley, being that I live here in the UK. Thanks.
The weather, the light. The UK is fantastic. I mean, I'm never going to diss London, and parts of the UK are absolutely stunning, beautiful.
Yeah.
But the weather, the sun.
We've been quite blessed, I have to say. It's been so hot, and I think it's a real reprieve for entities like me who are sun lovers.
Yes.
You know, when it comes, I'm just like in the park. I'm just there, please.
Sunbathing.
Charging.
Yeah, recharging.
Charging up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's the elements.
The elements.
Yeah.
If
the
you're,
sun,
and I'm
the
an earth
sea,
sign.
the earth,
I'm an earth sign.
the
So
water.
I'm very much connected with outdoor life, being very into nature, animals, earth, surroundings, lakes, sea, mountains, whatever it is. I'm very, very, very connected on that level.
Well, we all are, but some are conscious of it and some aren't. You know, Lesley, I have to say it's been the most beautiful interview that I've ever done. You've calmed me right down. I've had some moringa and peppermint tea. I feel like anything's possible, and you're very inspirational. And as soon as you get your masterclasses together, girl, you let me know. I'm in attendance.
High five. Excellent.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay, guys, so I'm sure you would agree that Lesley has a lot to offer. So if you're interested in attending her future empowerment masterclass workshops, if you'd like to know more about property development and gain more confidence at what that vein looks like and what it looks like being financially empowered and recognizing that abundance can never be limited in any shape, form or fashion. It's either one or the other. And accepting and appreciating your true self and getting paid to play, basically. And if property is an interest that you have, Lesley is the lady that can support you on that. And also, as well as the empowerment, maybe you're not interested in property, but maybe you want to synergize with someone.
Yeah, synergize, live abroad, plan your financial lifestyle so that you can live your life in the more beautiful parts of this world, i.e. the Caribbean or wherever you choose. Obviously the Caribbean's where I'm very empowered and passionate about. The workshop is all embracing of what you want out of life. I'm here to help you transition into that space. My vehicle is through investments, property investing primarily, but also looking at what your existing situation. It may be that you don't want to invest in property, but you have existing property, but it's about releasing what you already have and enhancing your lifestyle through what you already have. It's like, you may find it's too late, you may feel it's not what you want, it's not the headache, but you can still make the transition. It's just a bit of financial planning.
So how can we get to you? How can we reach you?
So the best way right now, if you're very interested, if you'd like to know more, learn more from me, you can go to my landing page, which is lesliemckenley.co.uk, and just register your name, your email address, and we'll be in touch very soon. The next workshop is planned for the later part of this year, sometime in the autumn. Just register. That's Lesley McKenley, spelled Lesley, McKenley, McKenley.co.uk.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Lesley.
You're welcome.